Going live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Project Egg Show. Today, we have the honor of speaking with Dr. Sam Bakhtiar, a doctor, CEO, author, world-class bodybuilder, phenomenally successful entrepreneur. He runs a fitness franchising business, the Camp Transformation Center, with 110 locations and 2 different supplement and nutrition companies. With a bachelor's degree from Pennsylvania State University in sports science and life science and a doctorate from Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, Dr. Bakhtiar has helped over 100,000, it's a lot of people, over 100,000 people transform physically and mentally. He specializes in helping people get to the top 1% in any and every aspect of their life. There are also a ton of other incredibly impressive accolades that this introduction could not possibly do justice to. So without any more time, because I know you're waiting to meet him, please put your digital hands together for Dr. Sam. How you doing today?
I'm good, Ben. Wow, what an introduction, bro. I mean, you have done your homework. I've been in a lot of podcasts, and they got the bits and pieces. I'm like, man, you have really studied me, and I appreciate that, man. It's an honor and privilege to be on your show, and I'm here to deliver and be of service.
Well, thank you very much for carving out the time to do so. I really do appreciate that. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
What is your story?
Man, okay, so I'm going to give you a short version. I'm going to go long. We'll take the whole podcast because I do have a good story. So basically, I came to America. We were getting bombed on. As soon as I was 3 years old, my dad left us. So my single mom raised me. I'm from, Tehran, Iran. I'm Iranian, Persian. And then Saddam Hussein started attacking our country. And I remember from 3 to 11, waking up every day, and hearing bombs, and boom, boom, boom. And at night, when you look, they had to have blackouts. When you're under attack by planes, what they do in the city, they black out the lights, they turn off the electricity. And blackouts and sirens, that means everybody went to the basement. Planes would be shooting, dropping bombs down, and anti-air missiles would be shooting up. It looked like Disneyland, except it wasn't fireworks. It was the war. And so my mom, didn't want, her only son to get recruited to go to the army, because at 12 they were taking us to the army, to fight. And so at 11, she, me and my mom left, Iran. We went to France as refugees of war, and with $500 in the luggage. And then from then we stayed in France for a year, and from then we came to America, United States, with as a refugees of war. And I came to a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania, which is, I was expecting Beverly Hills because that's what I saw on TV. And I came literally to a very, very lower to middle class, blue collar. And in 1985 in Sharon, Pennsylvania, there was no minorities. I was like the only minority in school. And it was very, very rough growing up, being at a young 11 years old, you like pre-teenage and not knowing the language and going to a whole new country, whole new culture, whole new environment. You don't have your own kind around. It was a huge shock.
So it seems like that was a very, very traumatic series of events. How do you feel like that has shaped you and contributed to your sense of identity?
Well, I believe wholeheartedly. I mean, look what happens when you lift, right? You see these calluses, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you lift, when you injure yourself, what happens is your body builds scar tissue to protect you. So these calluses are like, big old little bumps. So now that if I lift weight, it doesn't get to my bone, right? So I believe that, you also, build mental scarring, and mental scarring. And it could be a good and a bad thing if you let it. if you use it as a good thing, then it can be an amazing way for you to understand that these little things that happen now is not a big deal, right? But if you use it as, oh my God, I was scarred. Oh my God, this happened to me. How poor me, poor me, poor me. They're going to let it eat you up and they're going to destroy your life. So I believe that all that stuff that happened to me right now, when I get up and I have a problem, I'm like, dude, is that really a problem? I mean, I got bombed on. I mean, I got discriminated. I had, people in school said, fuck Iranians, and I got bullied and I got ridiculed and I got, kids at that age can be very cruel. I, back then, bully wasn't a word. It's something that happened every day. You see people right now, like, bully now that is a very serious problem in America because, kids are now committing suicide and doing all that kind of stuff. Man, it was just part of growing up back then, so I built mental scarring and I've learned to use it the right way where, nothing can break me now. As I'm speaking to you right now, I got a billion things that I can say, man, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I mean, people look at my life right now to think, oh my God, he has no problems. But I do. Everybody has problems. And, and then as you grow bigger and bigger and bigger, the problems just become a little different, and, it's not a problem as, oh my God, like, I can't pay rent or, this was my problem, 15 years ago, oh my God, what am I going to do to pay the credit card bill? Now it's like, oh my God, I'm a millionaire. Who's trying to sue me now? You know what I mean? And that's, is in life, Ben, you're either in a problem, left a problem, or headed towards one. So there's no such a thing as life with no problems. So the way you deal with it, the way you learn to block it and just focus on your goals is what, separates, the 1%ers from the 99%ers.
So it seems like that time when you were a child, those experiences, it's almost giving you perspective. Like, oh, the problems that you have now, they seem like, that's a gentle breeze. That's nothing compared to the things that you've already been through.
I mean, Ben, grew up in the East Coast. Sometimes we didn't have hot water. I had to take a cold shower. There's 20 degrees outside. I remember sometimes the car didn't start. We have to push it in snow and pop it in the clutch. For those of you people that are listening, in a manual car, if it doesn't start, you can pop in the clutch afterwards. You have to, push it, and smoke all the way in the car. Now when I have a problem, I'm like, wait a second. I'm taking the elevator from my mansion to go downstairs, and I have 6 exotic cars in the garage. How fucking bad can it be? You have to kind of put yourself in a check, and learn to be grateful. And you know what? You have to be grateful no matter what. Now, if I learned what I know now, look, if I didn't have, hot water, okay, it's a hard time, but guess what? At least I had a roof over my head. There was somebody homeless in the street. There was somebody's always, worse than you. So instead of saying poor me, poor me, poor me, always understand that be grateful, be grateful, strive for more, but there's somebody out there that will give whatever to be in your shoes right now.
Now, do you feel like the people who say, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, do you feel like they are taking on a victim mentality? And how, if so, how do you get out of that? Because if you're in it, seems like it's hard to really notice it. Like, how do you snap yourself out of it and get to that place of gratitude, that place forward?
To me, it's very simple. I know a lot of people, struggle with that, but to me, it's very simple. Here's what I learned, Ben. I've learned this. If I can't control something, why worry about it? I can't control it. If there's something that's coming in, I can't control something that's happened to me. I can't control the circumstances. By me worrying about it and saying, poor me, that doesn't provide a solution. So for me is, okay, I understand I'm in a situation. Okay, what should I do to get myself out of it? Because saying poor me is not going to do it. You know what I mean? It's not going to do it. I mean, look, man, Ben, Here's a list of things that I've gone through life. And this is honest to God truth. You know what I mean? I've shared, I'm an open book. Look, bro, I've been beat up. I've been bullied. I've been called, a sand nigger. I've been called, what the fuck are you? Well, or do you even pay taxes? You come to my country, or, why you come to my country? I've been called, I've been bankrupt. My house has been foreclosed on. I've been arrested. I've almost lost it all twice. These days, I don't know who's trying to sue me. Because when you're at the up, imagine what Grant Cardone and people who are, have done 100 times with me. I talked to Grant yesterday. He told me it just comes with the territory. The higher you climb the ladder of success, the more your ass is exposed, and people want to just try to bring you down to their level. These are just the facts of life. Are you going to let that break you, or are you going to be able to counterpunch and get back? And for those people who are going through a situation like that, don't let a situation, knock you. Hey, you're going to get knocked down. That's life. But don't get knocked out. Don't just lay there. Get back up, and you're going to go. When you were a kid and you learn how to walk, you fell 1,000 times. You didn't all of a sudden fell and just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to give up. I'm not going to walk anymore. You didn't do that. You got up and you tried again. You got up and tried again. But somehow, some way, as we grow as an adult, if life knocks you down a couple of times, you fall down, and you want to stay down, and you want to say, poor me, poor me. And that's not how life works. Remember, here's the thing. In baseball, you get 3 swings. In life, you get unlimited swings. So all you have to do is keep fucking swinging. Even if you suck, you're going to hit 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 1,000,000. You're going to fucking hit 1 out of the park. All you got to do is keep swinging, bro. That's all it is.
Let's talk about those periods in your life where you almost lost it all. Okay. What were those experiences like, and how did you rally?
Okay. So, when I started my business, in year 2000, I never had a dad. I didn't know anything. I was very financially ignorant, and I bought a home that was, back then, what was it? My first home was like $265,000. This was like in 2000. And then next thing you know, it, went to 600,000. So I thought I was the man, you know what I mean? That was a real estate boom, right? And I thought, man, my business was just fucking going great, from, 2000, to 2008. I was just basically making money. I'm making money back then. To me, I was just starting my business. I was making 15, 20 grand a month. And nobody in my family's ever made 15, 20 grand a month. So I thought I was the shit. I thought I was Puff Daddy. I was going out to the club, making a ring and all this. Had a truck, had a BMW, had a motorcycle, and next, I, cashed out the equity from the house and fucking doing all this bullshit, and next thing 2008 hit. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm doing one-on-one personal training. That's a luxury. A lot of my clients were realtors and loan officers and all that kind of stuff. Next thing I was, my income started going down. Next thing I'm like, wow, what am I going to to 600,000 gross revenue in 2009. So next thing I can't pay the house. Next thing I had to retract. And now, in the worst period, my ex-wife was pregnant with our firstborn and have no money in the bank. And I'm thinking, oh my God, man, Sam, you're going to be a loser. You're going to just be like your dad that wasn't there for you. You have no money. You got a child on the way. All this negative self-talk that comes with it. But you know what? I sat down. I'm like, doing that is not going to help. I'm just going to put my thing and go to work. I'm going to go to work. And I literally went to work 18, 20-hour days and just trying to make, lemonade out of lemons. You know what I mean? And that's all I did. You know what I mean? And I've struggled, man. 2008 to 2014, I struggled. And then all the hard work that I put in. And see, a lot of people do this. They put a hard work for, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They think that's going to give dividends and they give up. And everybody wants immediate gratification. We live in a microwave society. Oh, I just, no, whether the money was coming or not, I just kept working. I was just looking for a break, looking for a break. And next thing I got my break. I've came up with the formula. I came up with the plan. And next thing implemented it, blew up the business. And now, like I said, 110 locations, and not, we do 9 figures in business, across the 110 locations. And we have helped, so many people. And if I had not given up and said, poor me, oh my God, I lost everything. What am I going to do? We wouldn't be here.
When you first started that business in the early 2000s, how did you come up with that concept? Like how did you go from, I'm assuming not starting a business to then being like, all right, now I'm getting into business. I'm going into business for myself. Like, how did that come about? How did you make that leap?
I was always a personal trainer. I was always a person. So I knew the business of personal training. I knew how to train people. I knew how the personal training went. I didn't know the ins and outs of it. I just knew that was my passion. And I want to do personal training. I love body transformation. I fell in love with body transformation after I got cut from the basketball team, when I was 14 years old, and the whole devastation that went with that. And that's what I knew how to do. So I went all in, bro. I mean, here's what it is. A lot of people, they fail because they don't go all in. They have an exit plan. Oh, if this doesn't work, I do this. I'm not saying you don't have to backup plan. I'm not saying that. But a lot of people are scared to go all in anything. And so they dabble a little bit of this and that. And I keep talking about this book, man, this Malcolm Gladwell Outliers. In that book, he talks about the 10,000 hour rule. For you to be able to master something, you have to put in 10,000 hours to be able to master it. And if you look around, you see a lot of people putting 1,000 hours, a million other places, and they're literally jack of all trades and master of none. So I went all in. I've been all in since I was 14 years old. I've been infatuated with body transformation. I've been infatuated. I mean, this is what I do when I was bodybuilding. This is what I do every day. I get up, I'm in the gym at 4:00. I love this shit. But what I didn't know was the business side, right? I got into it and I started doing really well by just what I knew, a little bit that I knew, and I had to get better at sales because when I started my business, I literally have $5,000 in the account after I paid the first month's and last month's rent, and I had a payroll at $5,000. So I couldn't even have a bad month. If I had one bad month, I would have been out. And I didn't want to move back with my mom in Pennsylvania. So I'm like, you know what? I went out there and I was probably the worst salesperson ever because in our culture, a salesman is the worst thing that you can be, right? But I became the best because I had no choice. I had to make it work. And I went to people and I just hustled. Hey, man, let's do some personal training. I know you have like some sessions left, but let's re-up you right now. Let's get you right now. I'll give you a great deal, because out of desperation. And then I started the business and I started doing so good. But then I knew that for me to be able to take it to the next level, for me to get better at it, I need to understand business, not just the craft, but the business of the craft. And that's when I started, reading books and started, getting mentors and be able to learn how to work on my business and not in my business and start scaling that. And that's what I did.
There are two things that I really want to drill down into. The first is going all in. And the second is talking about the business of the craft, because you said something really profound there. But let's start with going all in. When you're talking about literally going all in, are you talking like you're taking out new credit cards to pay for stuff? You're giving it all of your time. You're putting every ounce of energy that you have in. You're calling all your favors. Like, what does going all in really mean to you?
Tony Robbins talks about it. It's called full immersion. Go all in, get obsessed. Grant Cardone says, be obsessed or be average. Going all in. So if you're obsessed about something, I mean, I heard somebody in a podcast, maybe it was Ed Milet or something like that, was talking about it. He said, when you're obsessed about something, have you ever been obsessed about someone? That's all you think about. We all had that girl that we were obsessed with, or for females had the guy that was obsessed. I never remember that when I had the girl that I was obsessed with. It was like, oh, that's all I could think about. You know what I mean? And I want you to think about that and go all in your craft. Stop being scared. I mean, all in. So that's all you can think about. Dedicate your heart, your soul, everything you have in it. I don't see people doing that anymore. They only like to dabble and and they got the shiny object syndrome. They go all in for a little bit and they go here and they go here and they go here and they get distracted and they lose their focus because they go all in for a week or two and they think, okay, that's going to do it. It's not. It's not. You got to go all in and be consistently all in. And I guarantee you, if you do that, you're going to have a breakthrough.
So I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah.
Let's say you know that you want to go all in on something and you should be going all in on something, but you just don't know what it is that you should be doing. Maybe you're trying to figure out what you're the best at, or you're trying to identify your skills, what you're really passionate about, and you're not sure, but you want to go all in, but you just don't know where to channel that. How do you overcome that?
Honestly, I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to give you a bullshit answer. Here's what I will tell you. Here's what I will tell you. If you're alive and you're not passionate about something, you might want to check your pulse. You might want to check your pulse, because I don't get it, because I've talked to people. And especially some of the younger generations. And they say, well, what do you like to do? Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't get that, because ever since I was fucking 4 years old, ever since I've been obsessed with three things: sports, cars, and women. I narrowed down the women to one. Thank God. You know what I mean? But that's what I like. If you come to my house, I have a gym and I have my car collection, my garage, right? This is me. So how can you be alive and have a pulse and be in this world for 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 25, 30, some people 30? I don't know what I like. What do you mean you don't know? Don't you love something? And here's the thing. Somebody, the other day, asked me about, how can people avoid burnout? And I'm like, dude, if you're burning out, maybe it's not your passion. It's not what you like to do. You know what I mean? Look at who called me. Ryan from Grant Cardone. Let me answer it really quick. See, Grant Cardone, that's Ryan's assistant. Ryan.
Big fan.
I'm on a podcast really quick, man. Can I call you back?
Yes, hit me.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Tell Grant I said hi.
All right, see you. Bye.
All right.
Now that could not have been planned. That was awesome.
Funny. I was on Grant's. I was interviewing Grant yesterday, and Les Brown called, and then Grant answered it. So it's crazy. So anyway, I don't get that. I was talking to Grant yesterday, because if you want to see somebody who's just obsessed, dude, the guy is 61 years old. The guy is nearly a billionaire. He said he's not a billionaire, but he's very close. He gets up. I said, Grant, I want to interview you. He said, come to the Beverly Hills Hotel, at 9 a.m. to interview me. So I was there at 9 a.m. Guess where he was right before that? He got up and went to the gym. At 61 years old, billionaire, can do whatever he wants. But he was getting on my podcast. He was promoting himself here. He was promoting there. And because his mission, Grant's mission said he wants 7 billion people to know him. And he knows what he needs to do, get to know as many people as possible to be able to get there. Right. So.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's actually been on the show. He's awesome.
I'm telling you right now, man, that is absolutely freaking incredible. Incredible. And so for you guys who I don't know what your passion is, really dig deep. Really think, what are you absolutely passionate about? What would you do for free if you had all the money in the world? What would you do absolutely free if you had all the money? Because, if I had all the money, I would be in the gym all day, and I'd be driving badass fast cars all day, because that's my passion. What would you do? If it's video games, then get into video games. I don't care what it is.
Let's talk about the second thing that you were saying, because, well, first of all, I think you're absolutely right. And I love what you said about check your pulse if you're not passionate about anything. Because I really do think that everybody does have a passion, and maybe you don't want to, maybe it's almost like you need permission to accept your passion, or maybe, you just need to accept that, like, this is who you are and this is what you're passionate about, and that's totally okay. And you can go for that. And like, and if that's you, if you're hearing that and you're like, oh, whoa, then go for it. Like, go for it. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was when you said the business of the craft, and that really stuck out to me, because clearly you're passionate about the craft. Mm-hmm. What were some of those fundamental changes or mindset shifts or actions that you had to take in order to move from passion for a craft into dominating the business of that craft?
Okay, so the one book that I'm going to recommend right off the bat, for people who are in that situation, is called E-Myth by Michael Gerber. In that book, he talks about the artist, and as a personal trainer, you're the artist. Okay. And but now you have to learn how to be a business person behind it. There's a business behind it. Right. And so you have to learn the business of being an artist. Or if you don't want to learn it, then hire someone to be the business behind it. Right. And I've learned so much from that book, book to be able to say, hey, man, I don't want to just, because look, here's what happens to most small business owners. The business owns them. They don't own a business.
Right.
They're tied into the business. And if something happens to them, if they break a leg or, they get injured or they can't work for a month, they lose income. The business depends on them. So you have to figure out how to put systems and automation in place where if something, God forbid, happens to you, or if you want to take a vacation for a couple of months, you come back and your business is still growing. It's not dependent on you. Because if the business is dependent on you, you're going to be old and you're going to be bitter and you're not going to be able to have the freedom that you want. Look, when I first started the business, I didn't mind working 60, 70 hours a week. And that's what I did. So I worked 60, 70 hours a week. I was making 15, 20 grand a month, and I was on top of the world, but I was in my, late 20s, early 30s. I didn't mind doing that at that time. I'm 45 years old. You couldn't pay me to do that right now. You couldn't pay me to do that for right now for no amount of money, because at the end of the day, now my priorities change. My priority is my family. My priority is my children, and I don't want to work 70 hours a week for no amount of money. So you have to ask yourself, plan ahead, look ahead, because can you sustain this? And you might have to sustain it right now, but put systems and processes in place where later on when things change, you will be able to change with it.
What were some of those biggest levers that you pulled in order to achieve that sustainability, in order to really take yourself out of the business to where you can take a vacation for 3 months and your business is still growing? Not only is it surviving, but it's growing.
The number one thing is what I call SOP, standard operating procedures, right? So that you can replicate every position, you can replicate everything. There's systems and process in place where, for example, I can bring somebody off the street with minimal, obviously they have to be certified if they're a trainer and all that, but with minimal experience. Give them a booklet or have them go through the course online these days. And they know exactly what the procedure is, how to answer a phone call, how to overcome objections, what training protocols do, how to weigh people, how to take their body fat, for example, how to follow what process goes. So this way, it's repeatable. Look, we know that McDonald's doesn't have the best burgers in the world. We know that, but they're the most successful, because the same McDonald's that you get in Chino, California, with the one pickle in it, is the same hamburger that you get in Paris, France. It's the same exact thing because it's consistent. So when you go to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're getting, good or bad. You know what I mean? And if you can replicate that in your business, and obviously you want to do the best that you can, but be able to be replicatable.
It's interesting you bring up McDonald's. I was actually just studying Ray Kroc, and when he was getting ramped up, he was obsessed with having people follow, like all the franchisees follow his rules exactly. I mean, I think he had something called, and it's probably still in existence today, but like Hamburger Academy or something like that, where it was like a total institution of this is how you make a hamburger. You do this much of mustard and this much of ketchup, or whatever the ingredients are.
Well, let me tell you a quick story. Believe it or not, I worked for McDonald's for about a month or two, and I remember I wasn't following the rules like they wanted me to follow the rules. And I was always been an entrepreneur, and I thought I could do things better and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my boss, it was a woman, and she took me outside in the parking lot and said, "Hey, look, here we do everything one way by the rules." And she pointed to Burger King across the street. And she said, "If you can't do that, I suggest you go work over there, because you can bend the rules a little bit over there, I guess." I don't know too much about Burger King because I never worked there. But now that I look at it, what happened to Burger King? It's funny because they were hot for a while. And now, you can't find a Burger King nowhere. They were like giving McDonald's a little run for the money back in the 80s. You know what I mean? And now, like, what happened to Burger King? You know what I mean? And that tells you the systems and the processes that you have and the way you protect your brand, the way you want to do things, that's going to give you long-term sustainability.
It would also seem like, in addition to having the standard operating procedures and the systems and all the infrastructure built, it would also seem like you really, really need to have amazing people on your team in order to be able to pull that off. So first of all, do you believe that as well? And how have you gone about building your dream team?
Brother, that's been the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is building the dream team. And the way you build a dream team is by constantly letting them know what is your mission, what is your vision, and what is your overall goal. What are you trying to accomplish in this universe? And obviously you have to have the right hiring processes to be able to do that. I can tell you, man, that was probably one of my weakest points for the longest time, because I get emotionally involved in the interview. I want to give everyone a chance. I want to let them know that, hey, man, this person really needs it. Seems like a nice person, and all that kind of stuff. But all of that doesn't matter anything. Just like, when people came to my office when I was doing personal training, I want to lose weight so bad. They're crying in my office and they really, really want to lose weight. And I said, all right, let's do it. We get them all, right out. I'm ready to do. And then next thing you know, next day they don't show up. You know what I mean? And I found that the most important thing with that is just time will tell. Obviously, have a very, very tight hiring process and everything else like that. But anybody can have a beautiful resume. Anybody can, be good for a week or two. These days, I'm not impressed. This new employee is killing it. This last 2 weeks is just killing it. And I say, you know what? Great. Let's see what they do in a month or 2 or 3 or a year. Let me know the consistency. People always say, man, Sam, you look great. I'm like, yeah, I've been working out for the past 25 years, every single day. You know what I mean? It's just, for me, consistency, somebody be able to show up and be consistent at work. Anybody can be good for a week or 2 or a month or all that. I'm not impressed by that. And I'm telling you, the hiring process is huge. And then time will tell. The cream will always rise to the top. I was talking to Grant about the same thing yesterday, and Grant, I said, what do you do? He said that, he asked somebody, hey, how long do you need to do this? Oh, 45 minutes. You have 5. And they want to see how they can perform under pressure. And something that Grant said, man, I mean, Grant is ruthless, but I love it. But I'm not like that. He said, Sam, I get in the office and I look around and see who I can get rid of today. who's not pulling their weight, you know, and I'm the worst at that, bro, because I'm like, oh my God, maybe let me help them out. You know, I give so many second and third chances, and every single one of them has bit me in the ass. You know, so that's why now today I'm going to sit down in front of you and the whole world and tell you that I'm the worst at the hiring process, because I want to give people a chance. I want to believe in them. So since I'm not good at it, I've hired someone to be able to hire people and get people to jump through the hoop and be able to do a better job than me.
Let's talk about that point in time in 2008, 2009, when you hit your low point, and then that shift when you took your business to, I believe, 110 locations. You talked about standard operating procedures. We talked about building the dream team. What else? Like, what else is responsible for that incredible growth?
You know, systems and processes, you know, marketing. You know, marketing is huge. You know, that's one thing that I had to learn is, look, this, you know, a business growth is pretty simple, right? These are the components in any business, right? First, you got to get people to be attracted to your business, right? Which is the marketing part, right? You get people to get to know what you are, what you do, what problem we can solve for them, right? And that's the marketing part. So you get the marketing, you get people to know you. And once they get to come to get to know you, you know, the first impression, you have to wow them, right? You have to wow them. You have to have a wow factor, you know. So when they come to your place or they go to your website, they're like, wow, you know, there's plenty of social proof, and there's plenty of people that they vouch for you, and obviously your first impression and all that kind of stuff. And then once you wow them, then you have to have a proper sales process and proper follow-up. You know, a lot of times, you know, people are not going to buy for the first time. If people doesn't know you, like you, or trust you, you know, they're not going to buy from you. Don't expect somebody to buy from you if they just met you. Don't, just like a girl's not going to stick with you most girls are not going to stick with you if they just met you. You know, you know, so they're not going to stick with you and they met you. So they got to know you, like you, or trust you. The customer has to know you, like you, or trust you, right? And the way they're going to know you, like you, or trust you, by you following up. A lot of people don't want to follow up. Oh, she said, you know, I'm not interested. Really? They showed up. They raised their hand. They came to you. So they're not interested. You just haven't convinced them that you can solve their problem. And by you staying on top of their mind and consistently be able to follow up, you know, that's what you have to do. So you have to have those processes. Once you have a customer, that's where a lot of people go wrong. They get the customer, and now they're looking for the other customer, another customer, which you should, but never forget the goal in front of you, because the cost to keep a customer is 7 to 10 times lower than the cost of acquiring a new one. So don't look at the grass as greener. You just get a customer, be happy, make sure you nurture that relationship. Make sure that they're getting taken care of, and and go above and beyond, go the extra mile for them. So not only they stay, they actually stay and refer, and talk about it. You want to be the conversation at the dinner table, and not by just providing great service. I mean, listen, they come to you. Of course, they're already expecting a great service. By you doing what you're supposed to do, you don't get no fucking credit. It's like a dad saying, "Oh, I'm a good dad." The fuck you want credit for that? You're supposed to be a good dad. Care of my clients. Well, you're supposed to take care of your clients. Do the little things they don't expect. By knowing their first name, knowing their history, connecting with them. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, man, I remember when somebody referred me somebody, I would go up to them like, "Hey man, here's a movie ticket for you and your wife. Go have some movies. I got some popcorn tickets for you too, but don't put butter on your popcorn." I would just, and by that, it cost me $20, but it wowed them. Look, businesses spend thousands and thousands of dollars get a new customer, but they don't spend $20 on a new customer. And to wow them, know their birthdays, if you can. and be able to build a relationship. You can't be a transactional business these days. And, if you are a transaction business, well, I'll give you this and you give me this, you're going to run out. In this day and age, the only, competitive advantage you have is the relationship you build with your customers and the community and the culture that you build. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold, and nobody wants to just be treated for just like a number. I'm just money to them. You know what I mean? The customers will leave you if they feel like they don't matter. You know what I mean? So make sure that while you're there, they're like the most important thing in front of you. You want to build what I call not satisfied customers. You want to build loyal customers. You know what the difference is?
I'd love to find out.
Okay. So do you have a girlfriend or a wife?
I do not.
Okay. Let's just say you have a girlfriend or a wife. Let's say you're married right now. Do you want your wife to be satisfied, or do you want your wife to be loyal?
Loyal, 100%.
You know what's the difference? Let me tell you the difference. A satisfied customer is satisfied with your services until something better comes on. Another business has something cheaper, maybe a little bit better facility, another thing, right? So they're satisfied until something better comes on, or something they perceive to be better, even though it's not, right? Or a loyal customer doesn't care who comes to town. They're loyal to you because they love you. They love what you're all about. They love your mission. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. You want to build that loyalty, and the only way you're going to be able to build that loyalty is by personal relationship, right? So then once you get the customer to refer, then it's a nice cycle. You have the whole thing coming. You have marketing, wow factor, sales, right? Retention, relationship, culture, referral.
That is powerful. And I love the way that you demonstrated the difference between the satisfied and the loyal customers, because I think that's a huge concept of really understanding that. Because you're right. You could play the price game, or you could play, the amenities game, or, all these other things of trying to satisfy the customers. But if there's no loyalty at the end of the day, then what do you have? I mean, you're going to lose them when the next better thing comes about.
Absolutely.
So I'm interested to know, because I think that this is one of the bedrocks and foundations of humanity. But you mentioned connection, right? You talked about how one of the keys of business nowadays is not being transactional, but being relational. Really building that relationship. And I think the foundation of the relationship is connection. So I want to understand, what is your philosophy on developing deep, meaningful, and genuine connection with another person?
Listening. Very simple. Listening, let the person talk. And then once they know, genuinely ask some good questions. See, a lot of times, a lot of people are just talking. They're never listening. Really, really listen and pick their conversation apart. And you find so much about a person. And if there's something that's intriguing, ask the right questions. And that's how you know somebody is really, really listening. Listen, I wasn't bullshitting you when I told you, when you introduced me today, you've done your homework. You'd be surprised at how many podcasts I've been into, and they said a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but they didn't know the whole thing. You've done your homework on me. And if I was a customer of yours and you had a business, you want to do your homework on your customer. You have to know what they're all about, where they work, what they do, what are their kids' names, what is their husband or wife's name, what sports team do they like. That's how you do connections, not why, how you doing it, not small talk. A little deeper. Now, you don't need to go deep. We need to know, and believe me, once you connect with them, they will spill out everything to you. You know what I mean? And that's how you know you're connected with them. But that's what's all about, human connection.
When you're talking about going deep, what does that mean to you? What does that look like for you?
As far as conversation is concerned?
Well, yeah, you're saying, you don't want to stay service level with people when you're,
usually here's what happens with most people. I mean, most business. Hi, how you doing? How's your day doing? Good. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Nice to see you. That's just like, you might as well don't have that conversation. It's just like a little formality. Hi, hello. I just acknowledge you. Okay, I really don't care to know about your day. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh my God, day was horrible. Let me tell you about it." You know what I mean? Because they don't have that connection with them. It's like, "Hey Ben, how you doing? How was work today? What y'all do today at so and so? Whatever you're playing. You know what I mean? Oh, so how's Ryan? Isn't his birthday coming up? You know what I mean? Hey, did you sell your car? Were you able to sell it? Get to know it a little deeper, not just on the surface. That's what I mean by going a little deeper.
So what I'm really asking is not the surface level, you're a little bit deeper, but to take that even deeper, right? To go further, like to really get at the core of knowing somebody and building like a bond that will last the rest of your lifetime. Like, how do you?
That's something that's earned over time. Most people are not going to come in and spill their guts about their whole life story, right? But if you've been a confidant and you've nurtured that relationship, they're going to feel comfortable enough for you that if something happens and all of a sudden, say, "Hey, Ben, gosh, man, I can't believe, this, I just found out my mom had cancer. Oh my God, I just found out this happened. And they want to sit down and talk to you and all that." This is something that's when you nurture a relationship, it's going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And when you connect with, they're loyal to you. They're loyal to you. They just, come and give you something just so, they're not going to, talk to them. They're not going to go across the street in a new gym and talk about that. You're not going to go across the new business and talk about it. That's how you have a loyal customer, because you connected. The deeper you connect with them, the more loyal they're going to be, and they're going to be to you and your business. It's very simple, but not many people get it.
I agree that not many people really are willing to go that deep. Frankly, I'm not sure how simple it is, because I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out, and I've been studying it for a very long time. But it is interesting to me how people are sometimes reluctant to go deep. And
like I said, that's earned. That's earned. If I don't know you, I'm not going to tell you all about me, all my, deep, dark secrets, or, some of my, devastations and things like that. It's always like, there's a wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
You slowly have to kind of earn your way by chipping the wall down. And that's just how, it goes these days. And some people, you'll never, break that wall, because they've just been so hurt that wall is up permanently, and you just do your best. You just do your best and do that. Just understand that not everybody's going to break those walls.
You mentioned how your priorities have shifted over time, and now they're more focused on your family. When did that change occur, and why did that happen at the time it did?
I mean, look, as humans, we evolve. That's why we're at the top of the food chain. You can't be the same knucklehead you were in 20s and get married and have kids and do the same shit, right? So, and believe me, I was a knucklehead. I mean, I wasn't always, when I started my business and, started making money, man, I was out there partying and doing stuff like that. So when kids are introduced, especially, then, to me, if that doesn't wake you up, then I don't know what, because you just brought a human being in this world where this human being cannot survive without your effort, without your, supervision. And now you're responsible for this human being. And I see, that's why I don't understand how some parents can like give up their child or do drugs or, not to me that. And I think not having a father put another chip on my shoulder to make sure that I'm a super dad when I do become father, when I do become that. So I was always had a little chip on my shoulder because, my father wasn't around and I wasn't, I was like, I never had that male role model. So, with that said, you know, um, with that said, I think that if you want to date, the first time I saw, the kid and a 3D ultrasound, I was like, holy shit.
It's real.
Real, right? And I literally sold both my motorcycles, like put it on sale for next day. I had two motorcycles. I'm like, okay, let me sell the motorcycles. I don't want, something happen to me. I got life insurance, literally. I mean, literally, I was okay. I got to get life insurance. If something happened to me tomorrow, I want to make sure the kids are set. And I went to full like Papa Bear mode, full Papa Bear mode, and today, man, I mean, every decision that I make will affect them. Every single decision that I do, it affects them. I'm even down to eating out too much. I ask myself, do I want to eat out again, or do I want to just, go home and save that money and put in a college account? As soon as they were born, I started a college account and a growth account for them, and I automatically have put money in there. I can't even touch it. I don't even have the password for their account. You know what I mean? I can't even touch it if I want to. I can't stop it if I wanted to. It's just I committed to them until they're 18. And these little fuckers have more money than I had in my 30s. You know what I mean? I'm serious, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, gosh, man, I'm looking at them like, I wish I had a dad, like me in my life. But guess what? Not having a dad made me the dad I am today.
Let's talk a little bit about the work that you do and how much you help people and what you're really trying to help them accomplish. I mean, you've helped hundreds of thousands of people. What's the thing that's driving you to help them? And maybe you could just talk a little bit about the work that you're doing to really make an impact in these people's lives.
Well, I mean, I was always been obsessed with body transformation. Like I said, I started when I was 14 years old. It literally changed my life because I was down and out. Like I said, I came to the United States, had no friends. I wasn't being accepted. I got cut from the basketball team. My self-esteem was at an all-time low. I was made fun of, bullied. I started working out. And I saw not only what it did to me physically, but what it did to me mentally and emotionally, and how it helped me increase my self-esteem and self-worth. And so for me to be able to impact life, I know what kind of impact it will have on other people's lives. So that's why I got into the business of the gym body transformation. And so now that with the Camp Transformation Centers, 110 locations, internationally, we have helped hundreds of thousands of people, transform their bodies, therefore transforming other areas of life. I have so many stories right now, people saying, Sam, thanks to you, my doctor couldn't believe my blood work and my cholesterol went down and I no longer have diabetes. Sam, we couldn't get pregnant, but I lost weight and now we're pregnant. We call it the camp baby now. Sam, I wasn't able to walk and now I'm able to walk again. Sam, I wasn't able to run around with my kids. I was always tired and now I'm finally able to be the dad or mom that I wanted to be. I mean, the list and the stories and stories and stories go on. And what motivates me is fulfillment. Who doesn't want fulfillment? Tony Robbins, talks about one of my favorite quotes, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. When I was broke, when I was barely, getting called from my creditors and I thought I was going to lose my house. And, I wasn't thinking about fulfillment. I was thinking about survival. And God has put me in a position that I'm okay right now. I'm good. My basic necessities are met, more than met, and now you come to a point in your life and say, hey, how can I impact more people? How can I help more people? How can I, and every single one of these messages really, really changed, really, really helped me, it really, really motivated me. Every time I get it, it makes my day. It makes my day. Why? We all want to make a difference in this world. And God has put me in a position, and to be able to do that. And why not take advantage of it?
What's your greatest theory?
Theory of what?
Whatever comes to mind first.
Here's my greatest theory. I always talk about this. As humans, we are the only species that I know that can adapt and evolve fast. I mean, look, a dog, you see my little Kaiser right there, German Shepherd, a dog 100 years ago, it's pretty much the same dog now, right? A tiger 100 years ago was pretty much the same tiger now. But the human 10 years ago is not the same human now. You see, we have the ability to adapt and evolve and get better if we choose to. That's what God has intended for us. So if you are not progressing and choosing to get better and not using the God's given ability to evolve and get better, then you're disrespecting God and your creator. So I don't understand where somebody can just go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, rinse, repeat, and not wanted to strive better and do better and do more. For me, it's like that's like an animal, because all you're doing is spending your time in this earth before you go. So why not learn? Why not why not go after becoming better? And that 1% represents 5 areas of life so you can be fulfilled, which is faith, family, fitness, finance, fun, and ultimately fulfillment.
I want to thank you so much, Dr. Sam, for coming on the show today and for sharing everything that you have, and for sharing this time with me. It's truly been an honor and a pleasure to speak with you today. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on the post. It's a privilege to be on your show. I know you can have anybody, and I appreciate you choosing me to be on here. Thank you so much, man.
So I have a couple more questions for you, then we'll wrap it on up.
Let's do it.
Is there anything about yourself that you think is an important part of who you are that we did not talk about today? In other words, what did I miss?
Man, important thing about me that we think we might have missed. God, one thing that I'm driven by, is progression. I rather live in just a shack crap home and know that I'm getting better every day than live in my mansion and knowing that I'm staying the same. And that's truly truly something that drives me. I get up every day wanting to progress, wanting to figure out how to do life better, make more difference, and all that kind of stuff. Now, like I said, when I was dead broke, for me, it was all about survival, and whatever I had to do to survive and get better to survive, whatever, it's always been that. But my core thing has always been, what can I do to get better today?
That's powerful.
Thank you.
That's powerful.
Yeah, this material things and the cars and stuff like that, it was always like a goal. Like once I do it, once I get this, this is what I want to have. Like as a kid, this is what I wanted. Now that I got here, I'm like, dude, like, you know what? I don't give a fuck about none of this. I really don't care. If I woke up tomorrow in an apartment, I'll be happy as long as I have hope to get better. So, hope is always the best.
I'm 24, and I really want to know, what question should I be asking you, specifically you, with your wisdom, your genius, your experiences, your knowledge that I just wouldn't think to ask?
Here's what I would ask. I would ask if, you know, what are some things you would teach yourself if you were 24 years old? What would you tell your younger self now the key to success would be? So you want me to answer those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So number one, proximity is power. You are the average people you hang around with. You hang around with losers, you're going to be losers. You hang around with drug dealers, you're going to be your drug dealer. You're going to hang around billionaires, you're going to be your next billionaire. That's bottom line. So here's the hard part. You always have to do an inventory of your circle and see who's up to par and aligned to your goals, and who supports them, who's with you, and who does not. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to make some hard decisions. And I'm not saying cut people out of your life. I'm saying you got to change your circle. There's a lot of people that I love, but they're not necessarily my circle. You understand? You know, not my proximity all the time. And unfortunately, some of them might be my family members. They are my family members. I love them, but their mentality and the things are not the same. You know, that doesn't mean you don't love them. That doesn't mean you're not there for them. That means you're not going to give your mental energy to them. Does that make sense? Whoever is not contributing to your growth and contributing to what you want to do in life. Okay. 2, which is learn to delay gratification. Okay. Learn to delay gratification. And it's very important, you know, for you to understand that the number one key, I call it the Stanford University, when they did a marshmallow test. I'm not going to go into that. And you probably know about that already. But for people who don't know that, I'm not going to get into the test. But there's something called a marshmallow test. And I don't know, you know, there's a book called Don't Eat the Marshmallow. They found out that, you know, if you learn how to delay gratification, which means giving up something right now that you want for something greater later, you know, then you're going to be more successful, right? Be able to be more successful. So I would say, you know, the proximity, learn to delay gratification. And I would say number 3 would be to go all in again on one thing and avoid distractions. Avoid distraction. You know, don't get distracted, especially these days with the damn phone and all these other distractions. Turn off the TV. You know, turn off everything and just focus on one thing. And again, I'm going to give you another resource that's great. It's called The One Thing, the book, The One Thing. Look it up. It's one of the most profound book in concert on one thing. And that will be, you know, like I said, you know, we talk about proximity is power. You know, we learn delayed gratification. You know, and you know, concentrate the one thing. But not least, here's what I'm going to tell you. Every single one of us, you know, we think that we have forever to live, you know, but here's the bottom line. Every single one of us, our clock is ticking. This is the certainty, you know, you're born here and you die here. Nobody can dispute that. You're not going to be here forever, but somehow we live every day like we have forever. So your time is ticking. Every second is ticking. Every second, every hour that you're not doing something productive, then you guess what? What are you doing? You're wasting your time, right? So I want you to do an inventory of how you manage your time. Okay. I have another big, you know, theory that I have is, you know, manage your time, manage your life. And a lot of people are like so obsessed about, you know, saving money or say, you know, money, but they're managing money. Of course you have to manage your money. But even more important than that, we all agree that time is more important than money because time we can't get it back. But why aren't we managing our fucking time? Which I don't understand that. You know, a lot of people, you know, they're watch a couple of hours of TV here, a little bit here, they're on Instagram for a couple of hours here. You know, they go to things that don't have nothing to do with their goals. I'm not saying don't have fun, but have scheduled fun. Be able to have a process and things. And look, it's like, here's what I do. I know exactly what I'm doing every single day to be as productive as possible. So, for those, I wish I knew this when I was your age, bro, because I've wasted so much time. And if I knew what I know now, I would have been a billionaire, not a millionaire. So every single second that you waste, is going away from your goal. You're wasting your life away. So I want every single person, it's almost like a game. You have, basketball at 48 minutes. Hurry up, get this shit done. Because here's what you don't want to do. Before you do, you're just going to blink your eye and you're going to be 60. It happened to so many people. That's why American retires with less than $1,000 in the bank or something like that. I don't exactly know the thing, but it's very, very low profound because they did that forever. They didn't plan. They have no sense of urgency. And they see, their life went away and now they're broke. They never did anything with their life. And that will be it. Those are the 4 things.
Dr. Sam, thank you again for coming on the show and dropping some massive value bombs. And I also want to honor you and recognize you for the good that you're doing for society, and all the people that you help. And I mean, just those 4 or 5 stories that you shared, like that shows the power of what you're doing, what you're creating, and the actual material impact, like the real impact that you're making to help people and to help people's lives. So I wanted to honor and thank you for that. And thank you for what you do for the human race. So thank you.
You, man. Thank you for interviewing me. Thank you for, helping me get my story and everything out. And if I can just, with this interview, if I can just help one person's life, I've done my job.
Thank you, man. And to everybody who's watching, listening, I want to thank y'all for sticking with us and for being a part of this beautiful thing here. And I love y'all. So thank you very much. And I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.